Welcome to episode 70 of Twitchy Tuesdays. Today, we are doing something brand new. It is the beginning of a new journey for me that we're going to kind of switch it up a little bit. We're going to switch up this Twitchy Tuesday vibe. We are going to be focused exclusively on Zodiac Spotlight and Chart Chronicle episodes go forward. So each episode on Twitchy Tuesdays will delve into either lunations, stations, or ingresses categorized by either Zodiac Spotlight or Chart Chronicles. And you'll see them clearly labeled on the title for your convenience, and it will always be released ahead of the transits, offering early insights into these celestial events. Cleaning out the broom closet, as well as the Twitchy tip of the week, are now headed over to my live channel, Twitchy Tuesdays Live, providing live interactive sessions for deeper engagement. And really, my hope and goal got a download. Thank you, ancestors, for speaking to my Ori. Got a download, and it was this change is really going to help break down the content of the larger Twitchy Tuesday episodes, which we've been doing now for almost what? Well, we're on episode 70, so 69 episodes. But that will break it down into shorter, more digestible, and more focused segments. So, as always, the episodes will be available both on YouTube and on X. Let's dive deeper, though, into today's episode, which is a Zodiac Spotlight episode, where we are going to be going over our July overview, as well as some of the early transits that are coming in July. So for those that are new to my channel, welcome. You are joining us in this fresh, updated new format. For those that have been here before, thank you for joining me again. I am still on the lookout for an astrologer who would like to collaborate on the Uranus conjunct algal that's coming up very quickly. If you are interested, please send me a message, leave a comment, or email me info@habitualsages.com. Okay, let's get into this Zodiac Spotlight July overview. So, I'm going to quick go over what we see on the screen here, and then I've got 3 cards already out that's going to give us that kind of energy and that insight into what July may be bringing for us. So, we have 2 lunations, we have a Cancer new moon, and our second Capricorn full moon, making it a blue moon. The first Cancer new moon will happen on 7/5. I will be doing a Chart Chronicles episode right after this, and it will be posted on, I believe, Tuesday. So you'll see that there. Stations we have on 7/2, Neptune station retrograde in Pisces, which we are going to talk about today, as well as 7/9, Pallas Athene stations direct in Scorpio. Then at the end of the month, we have Chiron stationing retrograde in Aries on July 26. We have quite a few planets changing signs this month on 7/2, which we'll talk about here today. Mercury goes into Leo. Then on 7/11, Venus follows Mercury into Leo. On 7/20, Mars will head into the sign of Gemini, where we're going to have a beautiful Mars Jupiter conjunction upcoming to talk about. On the 22nd, yes, it is Leo season. Fellow Leos, I am a Leo sun. Fellow Leos out there, this is going to be our time to shine and thrive. Although I will say, August is a whole vibe. And then 7/25, Mercury will head into Virgo. Now, full of things that I want to highlight that aren't on here for July. We have a lot of oppositions to Pluto. So Mercury 7/3 immediately heads into Leo 7/2, immediately opposes Pluto. 7/12, Venus will head into Leo on the 11th, immediately will oppose Pluto the next day. And then on 7/23, you will see the same thing with the sun. So these oppositions to Pluto are going to color a lot of what we get in July. Additionally, there are sextiles that are occurring to Uranus, as Uranus is conjunct algal at that 26 degree of Taurus point. So on 6/29, Mercury had this sextile, this exact sextile. Venus will have her sextile on 7/8, and the sun will have the sextile on 7/18. So these, again, these are more colors that were just, it's all part of the symphony. It's all part of, the different tenors, the different energies that are making up our July. We also have a 7/7 portal that's coming up, which is very exciting. That portal is the open gateway that then leads us for the entire month and ends up accumulating into the 8/8 Lionsgate portal. I definitely plan on doing a separate episode for that, so stay tuned. And all of this I actually covered in my quarter 3 Astro-Vision video, which is set to release on 7/1. If you are on my YouTube channel, you can actually already see that in and hit that notify me button. It will let you know when it's live as a premiere. So that is our kind of overview of July. Let's take a look at the cards and see what we get out. All right, here we go. First up, this is the overall energy of July, 7 of Cups. What I love in this card immediately that I saw was the word submission. It was the word of, especially thinking about the stations that we have, the lunations that we have. We are in a sea of water right now. The ingresses that we're going to be experiencing, there's a lot here, and we talked about this with the first Capricorn full moon. We're going to talk about it in our next episode with the chart chronicles with this Cancer new moon. There's a lot to submitting to the process that is occurring within you. There is a lot about supplication. There's a lot about ownership. There's a lot about, just I'm even seeing here. So let me show you the other cards because we have the Prince of Swords as well as the Two of Pentacles. But as I was looking at this and looking down, it's a lot about how do you dance in the energies that are present? How do you understand the process that you're going through, but remain in gratitude for what is? Remain in gratitude for where you are heading, knowing that this is part of the process. Um, this 7 of Cups, there's choices. There's so many choices coming in right now. There's so many different avenues, so many different pathways, so many different doors opening. Whatever that visual aspect of how you are moving through the energies, how you are moving through your life is showing up for you. There's a lot that's coming up. And it's, you know, taking this moment of stillness, taking this moment of supplication, taking this moment of pause, whether that's through prayer, whether that's through meditation, whether that's through active movement, whether that's through, journaling, whatever your practice is that allows you to sit and silence the mind and be able to navigate the waters, be able to navigate the emotional energy that is present, the you know, physical energy that's present, the thought energy that's present, and determine the next best way forward. Because there's clarity that is coming in July. There's something that's very new, it's very raw, it's very um maybe even a little undefined, but a decision is being made. A decision it's done. There's something that's very cutting about July as we move through it that is going to help. And especially, I mean, this to me is just very, very much Cancer season and what we're experiencing in Cancer season overall. But again, this is like the start. There's a lot of things that are occurring. There's a lot of things that we're moving through. We get some clarity as we go into July and as we begin to work through this. We understand some things. It may not be full. It may not be everything that we're looking at. But by the time we get to the end of Cancer season, this is that transition. There's that transition out of the water, headed into Leo season, headed into the bright fire, the sun, the fun, the energetics that come along with Leo season. I love that this individual is standing up straight, standing up tall, like that Leo energy. And as we get these planets into Leo, some of that is going to be present. We're going to be able to lead with, we'll talk about it when we get to Mercury and Leo, but there's this energy of the heart and the mind and how they work together. We can stand tall and strong in the decisions that we've made. We can stand tall and strong in the process that we've gone through to get there. And we can continue to move forward. This card is giving me such a warmth of gratitude, such a warmth of, you know, no matter what, this seven and this Prince of Swords showed up. I'm here and I'm thriving. I am here and I am thriving. Okay. So that is our July overview. Let's head over to our Zodiac Spotlight where we'll leave these cards open, kind of um get a little bit more into these energies. So 7-2, we have Neptune retrograding in Pisces, and we have Mercury headed into Leo. So we're going to break each of these two down. Let me get the cards up. So Neptune retrograde in Pisces will happen at 29 degrees, 56 arc minutes at 5:40 a.m. Central on 7-2. Saturn's already retrograded. We're already that I'm telling you, like this whole download came to me on the day of Saturn stationing retrograde. And this is what I love about Pisces energy. When planets are in Pisces and they retrograde in Pisces. So Pisces energy naturally is about the dissolving of things. It's about the unclear. It's about the veil that is put on that allows you to tap into mystery, allows you to tap into intuition, allows you to tap into higher power, your Ori, your guides, your spirit, and it allows you to play in the waters of whatever that is for you. So when planets are here, they become more veiled, they become more unclear, they become more nimness, if you will. So as planets then begin to retrograde in Pisces, what you see, which is to me personally, how I work with Pisces energy, is very unique to Pisces. You begin to clear away the disillusion. You begin to clear away the veil. You begin to be able to actually see more than what you were presented when that planet was direct. So, personally, I love retrogrades in Pisces because it's like, it's like seeing things blurry your whole life, and then all of a sudden they come into focus, even if it's for a brief moment. Even if it's only for a little bit, you finally get to like, it's like bringing a camera into focus, is the best way I can describe it. So Saturn already stationed retrograde. So here is, again, this is how this energy can work for me. Here's this moment where I'm, doing these Twitchy Tuesdays episodes. I know some things need to change. It's very unclear what that is. I'm not really sure. Saturn stations retrograde, opens it up and goes, here you go. Here's your path forward. Quick, I was literally just sitting here at my desk, not this one, my one over there, and boom. And it was, all right, write it down on a post-it. I'll get to that when I get to that. And now here we are. So Saturn's already turned retrograde. Neptune is following. Saturn and Neptune are within 10 degrees of each other. This is going to be the story for the rest of the year. I talk about it in the Astro-Vision course. So that is already very present. Um, we are going to focus on Neptune, but I just want to make sure that we understand like there is a co-presence, a very close co-presence with Saturn, and Saturn is coloring some of the experiences that you are going to be experiencing during Neptune's retrograde this year. So the Neptune era is almost over. And that's something that, he's retro. I don't know, like 2956. He is 4 arc minutes away from being the closest to changing into Aries that he can. This is a very very deep into the very pits of Pisces that we can get right now. So, what I was kind of feeling into is, this acknowledgement of, and here's where Saturn's coming in from, this acknowledgement of time, this acknowledgement that the Neptune era is almost over. We love a good Neptune in Pisces. That's a very comfortable sign for Neptune, and it's almost done. It is final. This is going to change over the next 2 years. This cycle will end. This is a 36-year cycle between Saturn and Neptune. This cycle will end. Again, here we come back to this Prince of Swords. There is clarity and finality in this. Again, you might not know what this means, but it is the cutting truth. Um, Whether or not you believe, this is one of those moments where you kind of feel that time means something, even though time is a construct. And there is still something that occurs when we know things are coming to an end. So, when we have Neptune in his home sign of Pisces retrograding, especially at this degree point, there's an intensification that we get with our sensitivity to the unseen. Again, we know that the unseen is there. We've been dealing with that in this dissolving. We've been dealing with that in what we're not seeing. But now that it's retrograde, those waters are peeled back to where it intensifies our sensitivity to that. It intensifies the emotional undercurrents that are rolling through us. Do I want, okay, well, they want all of these cards. One, two, three, four. 6 cards flopped out, just all face down, just one after the other. So let's see what we got here. The 10 of Swords. Look at this. Look at this imagery here. There is uncomfortable truths that are coming. There is cycles that are ending. There is a finality of things. And while we want to, and while Neptune is very comfortable with just like, let's just not pay attention to that. Let's just have, that's not what Neptune at 29 degrees, 56 arc minutes, um, retrograding at this point with Saturn right here. That's not what we're going to get. And this card actually reminds me of the Sabian symbol for this. So I'll put in the comments the Sabian symbol, the link to this. As always, this is taken from jamesburgess.com. But the Sabian symbol for Pisces 30 is the great stone face. Look at this card. Look at this 10 of Swords. If this doesn't adequately put like the cherry on top of the Sabian symbol. So what does this mean? So the Great Stone Face is on Pisces 30 by James Burgess says, becoming our own ideal. So I'm quoting now. There is no right answer to or best version of anything. We make it all up according to how we feel or think we should. We become whatever we idolize. Look at this. They want the next card. King of Cups. Instead of ending our journey, we find that we have become the seed of yet another cycle of experimentation. 6 of Pentacles. We idolize many things, love, truth, and God itself, for example. And this is how we become aware of our relationship with archetypes. We love Jung. The essential conundrum with which Plato and Aristotle wrestled without resolution is whether, the Empress, is whether we create the archetypes. I'm getting so many goosebumps, or the archetypes create us. Prince of Wands. The exact same puzzle is posed in the Hindu scripture, the Mahabharata. Do we create God, the King of Pentacles, or does God create us? This is the mystery of life. And simply put, it is that life is a mystery, a paradox, and not within our grasp to understand. It's not within our grasp to understand. Life, God, oneself are all beyond our comprehension. And yet, divine curiosity, divine curiosity to know more of the eternal paradox is the very motivation that began it all and keeps it all going. What we see when we look is nothing more and nothing less than our expectation. Wow. That that needs a pause for a moment because wow. So Rudar says a majestic rock formation resembling a face is idolized by a boy who takes it as his ideal of greatness and as he grows up begins to look like it. So thinking through Rudar real quick because that was pinging pretty deep. Thinking through Rudar real quick, and as Neptune goes backwards, as we have Saturn here, as it's time to reevaluate our dreams, this King of Cups, reevaluate the illusions that are around us, the Empress, reevaluate the escapes that we seek from reality, the Six of Pentacles, in ensuring that all of those things serve Prince of Wands and Prince of Pentacles serve our highest good, serve us to the maximum, allow us to stand proud and tall in our skin, allow us to earn and thrive and grow and create our desires into reality. You know, all of these cards very much so deal with the unseen, the Empress, the Six of Pentacles, and the King. These are all the unseen. They're the hopes, they're the dreams, they're the visions that we get. Um, and these are what this prince and this king are what brings it into reality. And sitting in the middle of it all is yourself and the war that you have with yourself. Who do you want to idolize, as Rudar was saying? Who are you? What is your ideal of greatness? And as you grow up, do you begin to look at it and do you like what you see? Is it time to reevaluate that? Is it time to understand a little bit differently how we become in this world, how we manifest in this world, how we lead forward? I mean, these are kings. Talk about an archetype. The king, the sovereign, the king and queen, that is an archetype. Are Whether we create the archetypes or the archetypes create us. What if it is both? What if the archetype is the face of greatness that we begin to look like? Where do we see, how do we know where that separation is? How do we untangle this web that we weave? These are all of those questions. But what we do know is there is an archetype of the sovereign, the king, the queen, the empress, the emperor. And how do we stay in healthy balance with that sovereign? How do we balance it out with our warrior? How do we balance that bestowing blessings and bestowing um the sovereign bestows the blessings, the sovereign bestows the safety and the security on its kingdom. How do we do that not only for ourselves, but for those that are around us? So I also found this really wonderful, what is it, like a blog post about Saturn and Neptune co-presence in Pisces. This was on Astro Dynast. I will also put this link in the comments as well. But I wanted to read this part of it because I think this part really gets down to one, these cards, but also how Saturn is coloring this Neptune journey right now and coloring this great stone face, this Pisces 30 Sabian symbol. So I'm going to quote this again. Saturn employs a systematic method to manifest what we believe we lack. Okay. Systematic method, Prince of Wands and the King of Pentacles, a systematic method to manifest what we believe we lack. What we believe we lack, coming back to that 10 of Swords. This may include outgrown dreams and ambitions, the King of Cups, unhealed wounds, back to this 10 of Swords, or in the case of Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, an even louder call to connect with the source of life, the Empress and the Six of Pentacles, becoming one. Neptune softens our hard edges, extends forgiveness for ourselves and for others, and endows an experimental interconnectedness with all life. This to me very much relevant within the King of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. Neptune can reveal what lies at the core of all of us, but to access it, we must be willing to release the accumulated layers of self-protection around that core, the 10 of Swords. Coming back to our cards earlier that talks through July, since this is happening in July, started in June, going into July, willing to release the accumulated layers of self-protection around that core, the 7 of Cups, this 10 of Swords. We have two princes, the Prince of Swords and the Prince of Wands, that can lead that charge into the new. Can lead that charge into the new for us, can stand in knowledge and power, and can stand also in courage and strength and in strategy to bring those things forward. All right. So that is kind of the color. If you want another analogy, this also was an image that came to me as I was sitting with Neptune and Saturn retrograding in Pisces, was the movie Finding Nemo. Now, hopefully we've all seen that. If not, there's one particular scene that to me really exemplifies Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. And it's when in the movie Nemo is taken, right? He goes out to touch the butt and he's taken by the diver, and then the diver takes him to his dentist's office to be put into the tank. When Nemo gets dropped into the tank, that is the scene that you want to analyze because that's the image that was given. Nemo gets placed from one ecosystem, from one, set of standards, set of rules, set of like Saturn. Saturn was in Aquarius, it's home, one set of rules, very comfortable, knows where his place is in everything. Sure, he has questions, but he has a community around him, he's protected, etc. And he gets placed into this tank which has its own ecosystem. Saturn now headed into Pisces, that he doesn't quite understand. He doesn't know where he belongs anymore. He doesn't know who's friend or foe. He's naive. He's never been in this other situation before. For some of us, this is the first time we've ever experienced Saturn in Pisces. So it's a little naive. It's a little, misunderstood. It's a little like, what am I getting myself into? He can be easily manipulated, easily gullible, easily swayed into doing things he may not want to do. Um, but what is really interesting, and speaking to these archetypes, all movies have archetypes. So if you want to get into archetypes, go study movies from an archetypal perspective. Study this scene from an archetypal perspective. We have other fish in this tank, and we have other also not just fish, but we have other aquatic life forms, right? You have the starfish, you have all of these other things. But think about what types of energies are present in this tank. You have a fish that wants nothing more than escape. You have a fish that has kind of went to, I'm just going to pay attention to the bubbles because the bubbles make me happy. That is how I escape. I'm going to be doing the bubble thing. You have another, aquatic. You've got the starfish that wants everything to be in harmony. They want to placate. They want to help. They want to, provide that level of optimism that, oh, it's not as bad as we think it is. You have some that are in complete denial. You also have those that are singularly focused, no matter the cost to anybody else or themselves. So there's a lot of different archetypes that end up getting analyzed within this scene, which I find very interesting. And that was the image that I was given when thinking about the next 2 years, what we're going to experience with Saturn and Neptune, how they're going to go through Pisces, how they're going to end their time in Pisces, because the end is coming. Okay. One last thing, watch your energy levels. Your brain can be going. We've got Jupiter in Gemini, but your body needs rest. So watch your energy levels. All right, headed over to Mercury in Leo now, happening the same day, albeit a little bit later. So Mercury heads into Leo at 7:50 a.m. Central Time. Mercury in its own right is in his fall when he gets into Leo. All that means is he is the opposite of the sign of his exaltation, which is Aquarius. So, Mercury in Leo, I'm getting the Three of Cups right away. I love this. Mercury in Leo is, sometimes falls can be a little more challenging. A Mercury in Leo fall to me is not one of the more challenging aspects. Um, because it more so just for me indicates like there's this balance now that Mercury needs, which I love that there's the two here bringing in that balance that Mercury needs to have between the mind and the heart. There's a little bit, more maturity that is needed. There's a little bit more understanding and guidance that is needed for Mercury as he gets into Leo. And that's really where I think, some of the Mercury fall aspects may be shown is when that's not in balance. So there really truly is a fire that gets lit within Mercury when he gets into Leo. It's the point where Mercury, um, I got this, I got this download. I was thinking about it of like, this is that age, like when Mercury gets into Leo, it reminds me very much of those going through their Saturn return, like right at the beginning of a Saturn return, like that 27, 28 time frame where you're like, shit, something's happening. Shit, I actually have to adult. My 20s are gone. I'm about ready to transition. That's what it kind of feels like. That's the energy that I feel Mercury brings into Leo. Um, but there's so much ambition. There's so much ambition with Mercury and Leo. And it's the ambition that lets us do Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, that's a beautiful Wheel of Fortune. Look at that. It's like a kaleidoscope. There's this beautiful ambition about doing what the heart desires. This can be a great time to like really hone in on your destiny path, your purpose, the passions that you have, and then finding that ambition to move forward with it. The balance between the head and the heart and knowing which should rule, totally a thing. Communicating with confidence, creativity, and coming back to this Three of Cups, a touch of theatrics. Like this is a very theater looking card to me. You've got these images, they're kind of in this embrace, they're kind of in this like, hey, I am exuding exactly what I need to. I'm exuding my passion, all while understanding that the wheel is turning, fortune is in favor. Fortune is in favor right now. July's got some good energy in it. Fortune's in favor. Um, and I need to make that transition. I need to learn how to balance that head and heart and who is taking lead. Where do my desires come from? How do I make them a reality? Um, One thing, and we just talked about this as well, opposing Pluto, right? So here we have Mercury's going to be the first planet to oppose Pluto. Get, I love, I actually really quite love Mercury Pluto aspects because it allows As somebody who has an extreme level of optimism, it allows some of that like skepticism to come in and like not kind of checks gullibleness a little bit. It really just checks you. Like it gives a suspicious edge to what we're seeing, what we're hearing, what our thoughts are doing, what decisions we're making. Um, it's kind of like, again, back to this Wheel of Fortune. Is this going to happen? Is it going to happen? Is it going to? There can be this seeding of doubt in the brain. What you do not want, because here is Aquarius and Mercury in Aquarius is exalted. So there, what you don't want to have happen is this puts you in a state of fear. It puts you in a state of like thinking the other shoe is going to drop. That is a pattern. That is an energy that needs to be uprooted. That needs to be left behind. That is not something that you want, looking at how we started this This does not need that like, oh my God, when is the other shoe going to drop? That we ain't in that business no more. So if during this transit where Mercury gets into Leo and immediately opposes Pluto, that comes up for you, we want to work through that. We want to acknowledge it. We want to think about it. We want to ensure that we're working to transform that energy, let that go, transition it. And again, as Mercury then begins to make a very happy sextile with Jupiter in Gemini, right after this as well, and he'll kind of be playing both sides. Jupiter can help expand and help find ways and thought processes to help you kind of move through that. Where Pluto and Mercury can be really good is to understand how control, manipulation, and power seeps into communication, our thoughts, what we're digesting within external communication to us, how we're taking things. I won't lie, a little bit of paranoia ain't the worst thing in the world, right? Okay, hold on. Not everybody is working in your favor, and it's not, maybe, let me rephrase that. I want to kind of take that back about a little bit of paranoia is good. We don't want to be suffered in paranoia, right? We don't want to be sucked into paranoia. What we want is the knowledge and the higher perspective that not everybody works in our favor. The only person who works in your favor is you. And that Pluto in Aquarius, the power to have that knowledge, the power to stand in that, the power to change in this Wheel of Fortune, to know that you are the only one that is coming to save you, that's where we want to operate from, because then we can look, as Pluto and Mercury, we can look at all the things and know what to expect. No, oh, that doesn't surprise us anymore. Oh, okay, yep, that makes total sense. I know people are out for themselves. People do not have my best interest at heart. I need to have my best interest at heart. I need to be the one to put processes and things into place that allow me to thrive, that allow me to sit into this energy and do what I need to do and cultivate my desires the way that I want to cultivate my desires. All right, that's where we're going to leave Mercury and Leo. The last thing that we're going to talk about today is Pallas Athene, direct in Scorpio at 19 degrees, 46 arc minutes. That will happen on 7/9 at 9:46 p.m. Central Time. Here we have beautiful card for this, the King of Swords. So Pallas Athene, we've had, I think, almost all the kings out today. I'm pretty sure we've had all the kings out today. Let's look. We've had the King of Pentacles, King of Cups. So we haven't had the King of Wands. So this is what that tells me is this is all internal stuff. This isn't action. This isn't movement in the earth, movement forward. This is all working through things in our own right. And how we do that before we actually take that action and make the decisions forward. So, Pallas Athene is the goddess asteroid of wisdom and strategic warfare. I love that there's a hawk present here, right? The vision to see from all angles and be able to be truthful about that. Hawks are excuse me, they're predatory animals. There is a very clear cut, no bullshit energy that comes with a hawk, comes with the predator birds like eagles and things of that nature, owls even. So as Pallas Athene stations direct in the deep and intense, I mean, she is like just past that halfway point of Scorpio. She's stationing in this where she's been before, but in this very like middle part of Scorpio where there's something that's being signaled here in, again, goddess asteroids. It's this very like layer above that you got to be willing to tap into. But there's this moment that she's like, all right, it's time to move forward. It's time to move forward with different insight. The hawk has gone back over the landscape, knows where it needs to attack, knows where it's going to get its prey, knows the strategy to move forward. And there's a tactical prowess that is coming forth that you can tap into. Again, coming in all of the aspects, thinking through this Neptune, this Mercury journey. Pallas can come in on that night and go, I know what to do with all of this now. I know how to move it forward. Because here's the thing is these we saw up here, July, until we get into Leo season, July is all about deep investigation and psychological understanding. Hugh Pallas Athene stationing direct going, that's my jam and effing jelly. I got you. I got you. What do you need? Tap in. Hawk spirit animal, hawk energy. Think through what that looks like. What raven, anything that is a predatory bird that is aligning with you, think through what their energy, what their archetype, how they move throughout the world, how they choose the prey that they do, how they nurture and love, since we are still in Cancer season, their families, their home, how they balance the flight and the necessity to land to in order to engage with their prey. All of those things can be lessons and understandings and tapping into allowing Pallas Athene to come in and intuitively give you those directions, those things that you need. You may take something away from that. It's a great way to work with that goddess energy is just by diving into the archetype that is there, the stories, the mythological stories that they have behind them, and seeing, okay, what is this lesson that's being presented, and how can I use that lesson for my own growth, edification, wisdom gaining, etc. All right, so this is the point in the episode where I ask if you're finding value in the information here today. You hit that thumbs up or heart, subscribe or follow, and explore the other content, including that new Twitchy Tuesday live where we are cleaning out the broom closet and the Twitchy tip of the week. All of that will be found in the comments, description box, etc. So, I hope you enjoyed the new format. Again, my goal is to make these a little bit slimmer. We had obviously a lot of information wanting to come out for Neptune retrograde in Pisces with Saturn present. So I thank you for joining me. May your days be filled with enchantment, your nights be guided by the stars, and your spirit forever be in tune with the cosmic dance. Keep those third eyes open, my fellow Twitchy seekers. Until next time, blessed be and stay twitchy, y'all.
cosmic dance where stars align. Milani guides us through signs divine, astrology secrets in the night sky, revealed in her sessions where mysteries lie.